Live from beautiful St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, it's time for the late night show with Dominic Gordon. Now put your hands together for your host for the evening, Dominic Gordon! Hello. Stop it, please. No, you. This is all you. No, not me, you. Alright. Tonight here on the Late Show with Dominic Gordon, because this is our 1 millionth episode of the show, we've got a special for you guys today. We will be reviewing the most popular book in sports culture today, the Fab Five by Mitch album. This is a special treat just for you dedicated viewers. We will be telling you the 10 best things about the book. Now just sit back, put your feet up, relax, and enjoy the show. Number 1. So, the first reason why I'd recommend this book is because it talks about my favorite sport of all time. Basketball. Not only does the book talk about basketball at the collegiate and professional level, it also describes the lives of the fabulous 5 freshmen. Now I know exactly what you're thinking. Who are these 5 freshmen, and what are they all about? From left to right, it goes Jimmy King, Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, and Ray Jackson. And throughout my presentation, I will be describing how they played a critical role in developing the game and how it's played today. Number 2. So, for our second reason, I chose this phone right here. Now, the phone symbolizes the relationship between a player and a recruiter. And in the next segment, we'll be showing you how in 1991 universities would recruit their players. Hello. This is Joe Smith from the University of Tennessee. And we just wanted to see if you are willing to come play for our university next year. Oh yes, Mr. Smith. We spoke on the phone a few weeks ago, and I am considering your school, but there is a few others on my watch list. Well, it's great to hear that you're still considering us, and I hope I'll talk to you soon. That's nice to hear, Mr. Smith. I will talk to you guys soon. Oh, that Joe Smith. What a character. Anyways, that last segment shows how in 1991, it was really the last year of honest recruiting. From then on, briberies and scandals were really brought into play. And that's why the Fab Five changed everything. Number 3. Now my third reason is the 4 S's that the Fab Five created. Now looking at this picture of Jalen Rose, let's see if you guys can guess the 4 S's. If you chose his shoes, socks, shorts, and swag, then you are correct. See, before the Fab Five, you had players looking like this. Definitely no swag here. Number 4. My number 4 reason is the rivalries. Duke versus Michigan. Michigan versus Ohio State. Michigan versus everybody. Michigan was the most hated team in college basketball because they represented the game in a way people didn't like. Steve Fisher, the coach of Michigan in 1991, received many racist, just terrible letters from Michigan alumni saying that the way that the Michigan team was disfacing basketball. I mean, it was ridiculous. The whole beef between Duke and Michigan started when Jalen Rose called Grant Hill, number 33 here, of being an Uncle Tom
Now, an Uncle Tom is a black person who acts more like a white person. Jalen Rose felt as if Duke didn't recruit players like him because he was more from the hood. So Grant's team backed him up, and that's how it all started.
Number 5. So the 5th reason why I love this book is my favorite player of the Fab Five, Jalen Rose. Now, he grew up in very difficult circumstances, and Mitch does a great way of documenting his life through great visuals, which leads us to our, drumroll please, first direct quote from the book, brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Here we go. Straight from the ebook. He launched the first free throw. Swish. Just say no, came the new chant, spreading around the building. Just say no. Just say no. Now you're probably wondering, what's it have to do with his living circumstances? Well, I'll tell you. The night before that Illinois game where that quote was taken from, and that was the fans, by the way, who was saying, just say no, Jalen was convicted of being on the premises of a crack house, which was totally untrue. But because he was looked upon as a thug, he was convicted anyway. It just goes to show that he lived in a very, unfair world for him, and it was very unjust. Number 6. Reason number 6, the Fab Five's cockiness. The Fab Five are some of the most arrogant, egotistical, and the biggest wise guys you'd ever meet. Nearly every game, referees had to get in between them and opposing players due to trash talk, smack talk, talking about their moms, their dads, everything like that. And this leads to, drummer please, direct quote number 2, brought to you by KFC. It's finger licking good. Once again, straight from the ebook. Behind him, Juwan was windmilling his arms, yelling at the crowd, "We told you! We're gonna shock the world! Do you believe us now? Do you believe us now?" Juwan was so hyped. And that wasn't out of pure arrogance. It was because their coach, Steve Fisher, actually told them that if they got to the Final Four, that they'd be able to be on the Bill Cosby Show, which we will add in a clip, maybe.
Bill Cosby faxed us a letter and said, if you beat my alumni, that Temple, that you, and go to the Final Four, that you will appear on the Cosby Show.
And I didn't find out till I got in the locker room that Coach Fisher had made up that story, had made up that last part of the letter, and I was crushed.
Number 7. So, number 6 led perfectly into number 7, which is their antics. The Fab Five were hilarious. Steve Fisher always pulling pranks on them, the players pulling pranks on Steve Fisher. They even disguise themselves as rap artists in Europe. Number 8. Which leads us to the dreaded sophomore year. Michigan versus UNC. 15 seconds left. Chris Webber's dribbling the ball up the court. Goes by the bench. Calls timeout. They have no timeouts. You know what that means? 2 free throws and the ball to UNC. Cost them the whole game. The most memorable thing the Fab Five ever did, and it still haunts Chris Webber today. Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard, they won't even talk about the timeout with Chris Webber. There's a lot of speculation that from the bench, people were calling for timeout. Many other players, like I'm pretty sure John Talley and Eric Riley, Rob Pelinka, they were all saying, yo, call timeout, Chris, it's all good, we got timeouts. But they didn't. They never owned up to it, which made Chris, feel left out. He didn't like that, which is why he decided
to go straight from his sophomore year into the NBA. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the final game of the Fab Five.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
Which I almost forgot leads to our third and final quote of the evening, brought to you by the NBA, where amazing happens. Now, Tally, perhaps as confused as Weber, had signaled for a timeout when Chris came up court. Now, there is video evidence of John Tally flashing one of these up in the air when Chris was coming up the court, but he still won't own up to it today. Number 9. My 9th reason is this man right here. His name is Ed Martin, and he was a booster for amateur athletes such as Jalen Rose and Chris Webber. Chris Webber actually got in a lot of trouble for receiving so many gifts and money from Ed Martin, and he lied in front of a grand jury about it. He said that Martin gave him nothing whatsoever, but in reality, Martin gave him over $300,000 worth of gifts and money. It cost the University of Michigan a lot, and you're about to find out how much that cost him. Number 10. My 10th and final reason. The NCAA sanctions on the Michigan Wolverines championship banners. Now, why did the NCAA make Michigan take down their banners? Was there a murder? Maybe somebody got murdered. I guess you'll have to find out by reading Mitch Albom's Fab Five book yourself. Don't want to spoil the ending. It's at Chapters. Get it on your cellular device. The PDF's online. Don't be lazy. You can download it. It takes you only 12 minutes. That's what I did. Anyways, this has been your boy Dominic Gordon. This has been Late Night with Dominic Gordon. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next week.
This is how we do.